I've never been accepted anywhere. That is to say, if you believe a name is an extremely important part of who we are. I grew up in Botswana. I spent 18 years there. I moved when I was 2. My family moved with me, perhaps the other way around. And every single time I had to introduce myself. My name is Karagania Mwamlole. Somebody would look at me, attempt to pronounce it, stumble, choke, lose their breath. In between their faces turning blue, trying to pronounce my name, they would say, "You're not from here. That's not a name from Botswana." Proudly, I would thump my chest and say, "No, it's not from here. I am Kenyan." When I finally got here, and introduced myself, the first thing I was asked is, "Hey, hii jina ni ngumu. You're not from Kenya, are you?" As recently as 3 days ago, this actually happened. And that's been the story of my life. But I do feel home. I'm the last born of 2 incredibly brilliant parents. I have 4 older siblings who are all brilliant on their own right. In our family of 7, 5 are doctors, and my brother went and married a doctor, so make that 6 out of 8. For anyone single, here I have 2 brothers, 1 sister, who are still single. Applications are open. You don't have to be a doctor. Anybody is welcome. See me afterwards. But their brilliance made my time in school a little difficult. It was expected that I would be top of my class. It was expected that I would follow them and have an affinity for sciences. It was expected that I would scoop all awards. It was expected that I would follow in their steps and become a doctor as well. And I did follow them to a very large extent, but with varying degrees of success, particularly on the top of the class, always awards thing. However, I did graduate high school very, very well. And the plan was for me to go and study medicine. But that's where life took an unexpected turn. I came back to Kenya after having completed my high school education, but I did not go directly into university. My parents, God bless their souls, have always worked tirelessly to ensure that we always had the best education. But relocating to a new country, even if that country is home, is never easy financially. Educating 3 medical students, 2 of them actually studying abroad, is not an easy task. Looking after unwell grandparents with extended illnesses is not easy. Attempting to re-stabilize and reorganize yourself in a medical fraternity that is very close-knit and has its own pockets of corruption and cartels is not an easy thing to do. Investing money with crooked businessmen, welcome to Nairobi, who will steal your money and make it disappear, causes a strain. And just relocating and re-establishing contacts after almost 20 years away is never going to be easy and always takes time. The long and short of this is that I did not go straight into university. In fact, it took me 5 years before I walked into university. As a student, I would visit once in a while. But those 5 years were the most character-defining years of my life. And I look back on them fondly, even though they were extremely difficult at the time. Why were they character-defining? Not because with a group of friends, we co-founded an organization that actually helped orphans pay their school fees. Not because a very close friend of mine roped me into his idea of starting a website that eventually was nominated for national awards. Not because I learned how to deal with failure and rejection from all the numerous scholarship applications and programs I applied for. And not because coming home to a country that is home, but not being able to speak the language, not having any friends, not having any social life, and having people still doubt whether Karagania Mwamlole is a Kenyan name. Some of you in the audience are still culprits of that. Not because of that challenge as well. No, the reason why coming back, or those 5 years were a very significant period for my life, is because of two things. One was making the decision not to study medicine, while the second was having that conversation with my father. My father is an amazing gentleman. He will be the first to tell you that he is not perfect. As a child, I had a healthy fear of him. And I say healthy because it wasn't to the extent where I would see him and run away, quiver when we make eye contact, but it was enough fear for me to learn right from wrong, for me to gain that discipline, to learn respect. A traditional African boy's fear with the occasional piga magoti, which I only learned the other day, literally means hit your knees. And as a child, you assume that your father is this figure who is going to be scary and is going to never understand what you say. So you can imagine the trepidation that I had when I came to him and actually told him that, you know what, I don't want to become a doctor. This is after almost towards the end of those 5 years of my hiatus from education, as it were, where I realized that medicine perhaps was not what I wanted to study anymore. And here I use anymore loosely. It's probably more accurate to say I realized after several years of introspection that medicine was perhaps what I never actually wanted to study to begin with. I did well in the sciences, although I did not enjoy them. I genuinely don't like the smell of hospitals. They're too sterile. Blood and dye have an interesting relationship. I'm not scared of it, but it's happier if it's inside someone's body. That's just how I work. And I realized that I wasn't passionate about that. I wanted to help people. I wanted to be a positive member of the society. But the entire process, emotionally and mentally, I could not do. So I went and I told my father this. And he took it. And he took it well. But as much as I said that he said he'll be the first to admit that he is not a perfect man. One thing that one of his main strengths, undoubtedly, is that he loves his family to death. He really, truly cares. It only hit me the other day. How did he feel when I went and told him that, you know what, I don't want to study medicine? After years of grueling hard work, after years of him working hard to ensure that my other siblings went through and my time was coming, how did he feel? Did he perhaps think that it was his fault? That I had grown tired of medicine because it was stalling my growth? Although this was definitely not the case, it made me reflect and reconsider the amount of effort and the amount of strain that he had on his back. To the point where, when we had that discussion, he actually swallowed it all. Those years, 5 years of difficulty, my entire life of him believing that I wanted, and me believing that I wanted to do medicine, him accepting that my dream was not aligned to his dream anymore, or the dream that he thought I had. How did he respond to that? How did he take it? He took it well. Apart from a minor follow-up conversation once or twice, that was it. Today, or not too long ago, I graduated as a computer science student with his blessing. And I know he's proud of me. And I know we say, our parents are all proud of us, but I actually have tangible proof. Whenever he needs any technical computer assistance, no matter where he is, he'll pick up his phone. Karababa, are you near home? Yeah, my laptop is not doing ABC. And I will come, and I will fix it, and I will do that with the honor and pride that is due on me, because that, for me, is an extreme honor. To be the one that he waits for to fix his computer or to do something with his phone it seems small to all of you, but for me, that's one of the biggest things that I have. Please clap for that. Come on, guys. Thank you. Some of you may be wondering if I actually hold any resentment to my family or to my brothers. And the truth is, I do not. Not even a whisper of it. We were raised as a very close unit, and I want to see them succeed as much as they want to see me succeed. And I think secretly, to add to that, every day of those 5 years that I didn't go and study medicine, perhaps was a silent victory for me, a secret achievement, in that it was another day I wasn't doing something that I was a little unsure about. It was another day for me to decide and figure out what it is that I wanted to actually do with my life. Right now, I lecture university students in computer science, and I also work for an organization that promotes STEM education, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in high schools and to high school students. So I work a lot with youth, and something that always comes up every time I travel somewhere else is, how do I tell my father that I don't want to do engineering and instead I want to become a singer? How do I tell my mother that law is not what I'm interested in, but it's actually art that I want to become? I want to be an artist. And in the also special and rare case, how do I tell my father I want to be a computer scientist instead of a doctor? If you have that same challenge, then there's a lesson in my story for you. In fact, if you're stuck doing anything that you feel you're destined to do and you're not enjoying it, you're not passionate about it, there is a lesson in my story for you as well. Take a moment to figure out why it is that you don't want to do what it is that you're doing. And then try and look for new things to do. If you're not sure what it is that you want to do, spread yourself out, volunteer here, start that, work this, do that. Try as many things as possible, and you will find something that you enjoy doing. And finally, communicate to the people who need to know, the people who will be affected by the decision that you make. There's a lesson for all of you. However, the bigger lesson that I want everybody to take home, the real thing I came here to talk about, is that we all have people who are in our spheres of influence, in our circles of influence, as it were. People who will trust us and look forward to hearing our opinions. What we should do is we should really become people who they can trust with their biggest fears and always know that they will receive full support. People who can listen to a problem and respond without judgment, but only with the correct emotion and the correct level of objectivity. We should become people who can inform, inspire, and influence positively whoever it is that is in our sphere of influence. We should become people who will be a platform to let a high school student who wanted to study medicine but decided he wanted to do computer science. We should become the sort of people who will be a platform to let them grow until they can stand on a stage like this and share their story. And that's who I'm trying to be. And that's a lesson that I want all of you to take, is that we should all become my father. Thank you.